at the Alexander Memorial Coliseum as once again an American boxer is in the ring. Fernando Vargas of Oxnard, California, in the welterweight class against Marian Simion of Romania. USA 8-2 in boxing after starting the day with a resounding loss to Cuba. The bantamweight Arnaldo Mesa defeated Zaire Rahim, stopped him in the first round, and so it's not been a good start to this session of boxing for the USA. Vargas, 18 years of age, referred to as the golden boy of this American team, the Oscar de la Hoya of 96, they say. And there he is in the red, first round underway. It's Marian Simion of Romania in the blue.
Even though, Scott, boxing is an individual sport, in terms of the team aspect of it, Vargas absolutely needs a win here to re-spark the American team. That stunning defeat of Zaire Rahim in the first round, flattening by the Cuban Arnaldo Mesa, just really put the damper on them, and they cannot afford another loss here.
Vargas, the charismatic boxer, crowd behind him. You can hear their chants. Does not have a brilliant international record. He lost to the Cuban, Hector Benet, in the World Championship Challenge at light welterweight. Biggest win of his international career almost certainly was his preliminary victory here over Medzhatska of Georgia. 10-4 the count in that one.
But he's in with an experienced guy here in Simion. Good hooker with the left hand, Simion is, and he's already scored 1 point with it as he got underneath. And he's going to keep trying that, and he hasn't even let the right hand go yet. Good jabs by Vargas.
And one of those comes up on the computer scoring system, and there it is. The lower left-hand portion of the screen. Fighter in red will always be the one on top, and that's Vargas of the USA accordingly, and Marian Simion of Romania.
And again, I presume you were pointing to the monitor for my information as well.
Just trying to give you a few tips here, Coach Andrew,
right?
in case you have any trouble keeping track of the score. Halfway through the first round, Fernando Vargas of Oxnard, California against Marian Simion of Romania. That's Vargas in the red, Simion in the blue. Fairly even fight thus far, Russ.
Fairly even fight, and Vargas has been most successful when coming forward behind his jab. When he started to backpedal and let Simion take the lead, he's been less successful.
The scoring point that Vargas has in this fight has come from the jab.
In reference to the scoring, Scott, if I had any trouble keeping score, I'd be a judge.
That'll be quite enough of that, Coach Amber. There's one thing we can say about the computerized scoring system in effect in this boxing tournament. Sometimes we've had a hard job keeping track of the count, wonder where the score has come from, but the right fighter almost always has won, Russ.
So far, yeah, they have, and there hasn't been any what we could call major robberies or major controversial decisions given to a fighter who didn't deserve to win. No, that pretty much the right guy has got it. That jab is successful for Vargas, and you know why it's working for him, Scott? Because Simion keeps that head straight up in the air. There's no upper body movement from him. He's keeping that head right in the middle, and more often than not, he's actually running into the jab of Vargas more than Vargas actually hitting him with it.
Nice defense by Fernando Vargas as he tucks up. Now he goes to work on Simion. And again, covers up nicely. He's got a 2-point lead as the first round comes to an end. So Fernando Vargas does a nice job in the first round of his welterweight bout.
The jab was the key for him. The jab was the key. That's what he set everything up with. And then every time Simion got into a defensive mode, he opened up with a flurry and was able to get 1 or 2 shots in and got credited for them. There was the left hook from Simion that scored early. That rocked Vargas. Good double up on the left hook. Vargas comes back with his own. They're exchanging hooks. There's the right hand, and just one of the few right hands that Simion threw in the fight. I don't know why he's holding back on the right hand. He's been relying a lot on the hook, but the jab has been the key for Fernando Vargas. There's Simion in his corner getting the instructions. He's got to get that head out of the way. He can't afford to let Vargas keep setting him up with that jab, because other points are going to come once you start getting hit with the jab.
So here at the Alexander Memorial Coliseum, second round of this welterweight bout underway. It's Fernando Vargas in the red. He is from Oxnard, California. the heavy crowd favorite for obvious reasons here, and Marian Simion of Romania in the blue. Vargas has moved up from light welterweight to welterweight. In his preliminary victory, there was absolutely no sign of a loss of speed or power, and we don't see any here in this fight.
No, it wasn't just a move up. He grew into the class. You know, he's only a young guy. He's 19. He wasn't going to hold on to the 139-pound class forever. You know, he just grew into the weight. So whatever skills and speed and power he had, he brings up the equivalent to the 147-pound class. And you'll notice there, we've spoken about this earlier, all that action was done in the blue corner. They were pretty much even exchanges, but due to the fact that Vargas had his back to the ropes, he was visible for almost all the judges, and they all scored. Vargas scored all. Simion scored all his points there by keeping Vargas in the corner.
And now they're on even terms. But the jab working effectively for Fernando Vargas in this fight.
Now he's got to let the other stuff go off the jab.
Got himself embroiled in a contract situation. He signed one with a couple of lawyers who were going to take control of his pro career. In return, they were going to give him $55,000 a year for the right to direct him as a professional. AIBA, the International Boxing Association, ruled the contract invalid, but Vargas got to keep the first year's money. It's hard to understand, Russ. The Romanian, Marian Simion, in the lead now, and I think Vargas has controlled the fight. Of course, we know it's not all about control. I guess what I should say is that he's landed more punches.
Well, I think both of them have been exchanging the left hands, but Simion seems to be finishing the exchanges. So even when they're staying quite even, and I mean, we're only talking about a 1-point difference, they seem to be favoring the guy finishing the exchanges, as was evident of what happened in the blue corner. Vargas seems to have quit on the jab, and when he does throw it, he's not putting anything off it. See, now they're going jab for jab, so even if they do get a point, they're both going to get it. There, Vargas tried to let the right hand go off the jab.
And as we know, it's the good, clean shots to the head that score. That's just the way it's turned out in the computerized system. Caution now to Simion.
Caution for a low blow. We couldn't see it. Vargas's back was turned to us. Now you see what Vargas is doing, where after he throws the shots, he gets in really close, because as you know, the judges are not scoring when the fighters are on the inside. They don't see the punches clearly enough, and they don't feel that they have the weight of the body behind them. So he's throwing his flurries, trying to land one shot and then fall in on the inside. The one thing that I'm surprised about in this bout, Scott, is that it has been Vargas who has been the aggressor. He's been the one coming forward, and Vargas has been doing. Simion has been coming forward, and Vargas has been the one backpedaling.
It's not the way it was late in the first round or early in this one.
No, and that's when Vargas has had his most luck, was when he was coming forward.
So the complexion of this bout has changed here from about the midway point of round number 2. That's, I think, when Vargas started backing up.
That's right. Even in the opening parts of the first round, when he came out backing up, it was Simion who scored the first points.
So then, will the Americans suffer their second defeat of the day in Olympic boxing? There is one round to go for us to find out, as Fernando Vargas of Oxnard, California, heads to his corner down after 2 rounds. Here at the Alexander Memorial Coliseum, we await the start of the third and final round in this welterweight matchup of American Fernando Vargas and Romanian Marian Simion. It's the Romanian with the lead by 3 as the third round begins. This Romanian boxer has got credentials. He was second in the European Championships this year. He beat Hussein Bayram of France 13-6 in his preliminary bout, and he's giving Vargas all he can handle, but now Vargas must have been told between rounds he was trailing, and he's trying to go to work.
A good right hand from Simion, scored right over the top, but nothing came up for him. Snapped Vargas's head back. You know, this actually might work in Vargas's favor, the fact that he's trailing, because that means he's going to have to take the aggressor's role and come forward, and that's where he's been the most successful. When he's backpedaled and let Simion dictate the pace of the fight, he's been losing.
Russ, here may be the key to Simion's victory, if in fact he is able to win it. His biography says he always steps into the ring with his right foot first. What do you make of that?
Superstition, I guess.
Clearly that's what it is. And he may have done it today, because he's done not a bad job from the midway point of the second round on, taking control of the fight.
Sounds like an NHL goalie, doesn't it? Put the pad on first, put the glove on first, don't step on the blue line. Hey, if it works, go ahead, and up to now, it's working for him.
We are through 1 minute of round number 3, and sooner or later, and preferably sooner for the American fans, Fernando Vargas had better land some shots.
Not only for the American fans, but for the whole team as well. They cannot afford to suffer 2 defeats in a row. You know, the morale is everything in boxing, and that team has to stay together and feel that they're unbeatable. When you step into a ring and you feel you can't lose, that's good for 2 or 3 points right there. But the stunning knockout loss by Rahim in the opening bout against Mesa, a 1-round knockout, and now this, trailing by 2 points with 1:22 to go in the third.
This would drop the USA to 8-3 if Vargas cannot come back. Russ, I'm not sure that this would be considered an upset.
Well, it's been on even terms. These are 2 evenly matched guys. I don't know that you could say an upset. For it to be an upset would be for the weaker fighter to have to come back to win, but I don't think Vargas can be considered the weaker fighter, nor Simion.
Vargas has now closed the gap to 1 point with 1 minute to go. Now, he can't know the score because it's not being posted inside the building. He must have known between rounds he was trailing. Now he's back on even terms.
And that right hand that I spoke of earlier that Simion scored with, that snapped the head back of Vargas, could be crucial at this point.
This is shaping up as one of the best finishes we've seen so far in any bout in this Olympic Games boxing tournament. Look at this. They're deadlocked at 7, 30 seconds to go.
There's good straight punches from Simion, and that got through.
He landed the right for the go-ahead point.
The referee should just step out of there and let these guys do their thing. Now Simion is going to try to crowd him.
He better step out of the way for the American because Fernando Vargas needs all the time he can get here. Now he's got 15 seconds left, down by 1. The Romanian Marian Simion content to tie him up. Vargas trying to land the tying point.
And that'll be it. I don't think he's done it. I think Vargas just held on at the end, smothered the infighting, and I don't think Vargas got the tying point.
Russ, the computer score is taken from the screen with about 3 seconds to go in the fight, 3 seconds to go at the end of every round, so we don't know if Fernando Vargas might have got credit for the tying point.
Because it looked like Simion fell in on him and immediately closed down that scoring zone. Although it did happen in the high scoring area, which was the blue zone.
Couple of scoring shots there from Fernando Vargas.
Good straight shots by Simion there.
All right, let's get the decision. Vargas and Simion in the center of the ring. Vargas thinks he's won it. So Fernando Vargas clearly did not register the tying point late in the bout, and all that would have done was send it back to the judges to be decided on a countback. But there is confirmation of the score. Marian Simion of Romania wins it by a single point, 8-7. Very close fight, but Fernando Vargas is done, and the USA loses its second match of the day.
His livelihood, not just his life.